Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Dev Kumar Palmer, a lawyer whose specialist subject is the French footballer Eric Cantona. Danielle Gibney, a policy program manager who will be answering questions on the science fiction television series Black Mirror. Sarah Trevathan, an environment and safety consultant. Her subject is the stage musical and film phenomenon Rocky Horror. And Sean Smith, a student. His specialist subject, the novels of John Steinbeck. Our four contenders tonight are like finely tuned athletes, their skills honed over many hours of preparation. And just like athletes, they hope to peak at the right time. Well, that time is now, as they battle for a place in the semi-finals. Never mind the loneliness of the long-distance runner. What about the loneliness of the black chair, the spotlight, and the ticking clock? 2 minutes on their chosen specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge are all that stand between them and a crack at glory. So let's ask our first contender to join us, please. Your name?
Dev Kumar Palmer.
And your occupation?
Lawyer.
And your chosen specialist subject?
Eric Cantona.
The talented French football player and later actor born in 1966. In 2 minutes, starting now. At the start of the season that began in 1993, Cantona was assigned what squad number by Manchester United?
Number 9.
No, number 7. In 1983, Cantona made his first team debut for which French club, then managed by Guy Roux, in a victory against Nancy?
Auxerre.
Yes. In 1988, Cantona was banned from the French national team for a year for insulting the head coach, who dropped him for a friendly against Czechoslovakia. What was his name?
Henri Michel.
Yes, in a French cup match against Nantes in 1988, Cantona was sent off and briefly suspended for tackling which opposing player with a waist-high drop kick?
Van Rinkelsberger.
No, Michel de Zakarian. Cantona's first acting credit was for the 1995 film Le Bonheur est dans le pré. His character, Lionel, plays what sport?
Rugby.
Yes, Cantona won the old First Division title with Leeds United in 1992, though he'd originally travelled to England earlier that season for a trial with which other club?
Sheffield Wednesday.
Yes, Cantona appears in the music video for which 2019 Liam Gallagher single, in which he is served wine by Gallagher and then dresses up as a king.
Once.
Yes, Cantona's only major international tournament for France was the 1992 European Championships, where his first game was a 1-1 draw against which country?
Bulgaria.
No, Sweden. Which referee showed Cantona a red card against Crystal Palace in 1995, sparking the infamous incident when he attacked a supporter who'd confronted him as he walked towards the players' tunnel?
Wilkie.
Yes, Alan Wilkie. Cantona's first appearance in an English-language feature film was as the French ambassador Monsieur de Foix, in which 1998 film?
Elizabeth.
Yes, in what's said to be the first game he played with his shirt collar turned up, Cantona scored twice to help Manchester United recover from a 2-0 half-time deficit to win 3-2 away to which team in November 1993?
The Manchester Derby.
Yes, Manchester City. Cantona has fronted a television advertising campaign for which French charity named after its founder that campaigns to improve the provision of housing for underprivileged people?
A Pierre.
Yes, Fondation Abbé Pierre. And your time is up, and you had no passes, and you've got 9 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Danielle Gibney.
And your occupation?
Policy Program Manager.
And your specialist subject?
Black Mirror.
The dystopian science fiction series created by Charlie Brooker. In 2 minutes, starting now. What's the title of the episode, directed by Jodie Foster, that stars Rosemarie DeWitt as an overprotective mother who has a monitoring device fitted in her daughter's brain?
Archangel.
Yes, the fictional news network first seen in the national anthem that recurs in several other episodes is known by what 3-letter name?
UKN.
Yes, in Be Right Back, when Martha first contacts the virtual simulation of her deceased boyfriend Ash, she asks, "Is that you?" To which he jokingly replies, "No," claiming instead to be which historical figure?
The late, Henry Kissinger.
No, Abraham Lincoln. Hang the DJ centers on Amy and Frank, a couple matched together by dating technology. Frank is played by Joe Cole, while Amy is played by which actress?
Georgina Campbell.
Yes. What's the name of the restaurant where the protagonist, Kenny, works in Shut Up and Dance?
Barney's.
Yes, in 15 Million Merits, citizens such as Bing Madsen spend their days peddling stationary bikes to earn merits. What's the three-digit number of Bing's bike?
324.
Yes, the episode The Waldo Moment is based on an idea that Charlie Brooker and the satirist Chris Morris had for which earlier television series?
Nathan Barley.
Yes, in Rachel, Jack and Ashley 2, Ashley 2 is a small robot version of the fictional pop star Ashley O. What's the corresponding name of the giant hologram version of Ashley O?
Ashley Eternal.
Yes, which composer wrote the score for White Christmas, creating, in his words, a different character musically for each of the three stories within it?
Pass.
In Playtest, when Cooper is going up the stairs at the gaming company where he has agreed to test a new game, he says, "Hope I get Gryffindor," after claiming that he feels like he's going to meet whom?
Dumbledore.
Yes, which British filmmaker directed both the episode Metalhead and the 2018 interactive film Bandersnatch?
David Slade.
Yes, what's the name of the video game Yorkie is seen playing on her first visit to Tucker's, the nightclub in San Junipero?
Bubble Bobble.
Yes, in USS Callister, Robert Daly has named the company he co-founded Callister after the starship, in which fictional science fiction television series?
Space Fleet.
Yes, it is Space Fleet. And Danielle, you had one pass. John Opstad wrote the score for White Christmas, creating, in his words, a different character musically for each of the three stories within it. And at the end of that round, you've scored 11 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. And your name?
Sarah Trevathan,
And your occupation?
Environment and Safety Consultant,
And your specialist subject?
Rocky Horror.
The stage musical and film in which the naive couple, Brad and Janet, encounter the extraordinary Dr. Frankenfurter. In 2 minutes, starting now, Richard O'Brien created the Rocky Horror Show and the Rocky Horror Picture Show and starred in both as what character?
Riff Raff.
Yes, the lyrics of which song make reference to some of the horror films Richard O'Brien had watched in his youth, including King Kong and It Came From Outer Space.
Science fiction double feature.
Yes, which actress originated the role of Janet Weiss at the theatre upstairs, but left before the show moved to the Chelsea Classic in August 1973, when Belinda Sinclair took over the role?
Julie Covington.
Yes, Richard O'Brien had the original idea for the Rocky Horror Show while he was part of the London production of what other musical that also included Tim Curry in the cast?
Hair.
Yes, which ballad from the stage show sung by Brad Majors after he and Janet have both been seduced by Frankenfurter was the only full song to be cut from the film?
Once in a While.
Yes, the original cast album was recorded in 1973 at which studio in London, co-founded by the actor and music producer John Sinclair?
Psalm.
Yes, Psalm Studios. The song I Can Make You a Man, which Frankenfurter sings to his creation Rocky, contains many allusions to what real-life proponent of an exercise regime who'd recently died?
Charles Atlas.
Yes, the film was shot on location at which Victorian mansion that was also used as a location for many Hammer horror films made at the nearby Bray Studios?
Oakley Court.
Yes, after Brad and Janet watch the Transylvanians dance and sing the Time Warp, Brad asks, say, do any of you guys know how to?
Madison.
Yes, the character of Eddie, the delivery boy, is played by the rock singer Meatloaf in the film. Which actor originated the role at the theatre upstairs?
Paddy O'Hagan.
Yes, Richard O'Brien said the lyric, "Don't dream it, be it," was inspired by magazine advertisements for which American lingerie brand?
Fredericks.
Yes. What's the name of the costume designer for both the original stage production and the film, who was uninterested in the job at first and said, I had no desire to design a lot of drag costumes for no money?
Sue Blaine.
Yes, at his audition, which cast member from the original London stage show sang the Jimmy Osmond song Long-Haired Lover from Liverpool, I've started so I'll finish, because he knew the lyrics from a previous pantomime performance?
Raina Borton.
It is. And Sarah, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've scored 13 points. And our final contender, please. Your name?
Sean Smith.
And your occupation.
I'm a student.
And your specialist subject.
The novels of John Steinbeck.
The American novelist awarded the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1962. In 2 minutes, starting now. Which of Steinbeck's novels takes its title from a passage from Milton's Paradise Lost? That's the preface to the novel, and in which the term describes Satan's war with God.
In Dubious Battle.
Yes, which character in East of Eden does Steinbeck begin to describe with the line, "I believe that there are monsters born in the world to human parents"?
Kathy Ames.
Yes, in Cup of Gold, Henry Morgan successfully attacks 4 Spanish ships and takes his plunder to which island, where he meets up with the Dutch buccaneer Edward Mansvelt?
Hispaniola.
No, Tortuga. When the Hawleys have Margie over for dinner in The Winter of Our Discontent, Ethan says that he'll wear which grey suit as he wants to save his dark suit for church the next day?
The Light One.
No, Old Dobbin. In The Grapes of Wrath, Jim Raleigh is the manager of which government camp where the Jodes stay after the Hooverville shantytown is burned down?
Weedville.
No, Weed Patch. Norma, who works in the lunchroom of Rebel Corners in The Wayward Bus, writes love letters to which actor that remain unanswered, leading her to believe that a secretary at MGM must be intercepting them.
Clark Gable.
Yes, in Tortilla Flat, when Pablo's candle for St. Francis starts a fire in one of Danny's houses, Pilon is ushered out of the building, still holding what item of clothing?
His shirt.
No, a pink brassiere. While flirting with Molly Morden in The Moon is Down, Lieutenant Tonda gives her a poem that he initially claims he wrote, but then admits that it's actually by which poet?
Coleridge.
No, Heine. In Of Mice and Men, after Lenny accidentally kills Curly's wife while trying to pet her hair, he attempts to conceal her death by covering her body with what?
A sack.
No, hay. In Burning Bright, Victor boasts to Maudine about the longevity of his ancestors, telling her that his paternal great-grandfather lived to be what age?
104.
Yes, in Tortilla Flat, Pilon visits the pirate, a huge, broad man with a tremendous black and bushy beard, who lives in a deserted chicken house with his 5 dogs, one of which is called Senor Alec what?
Guinness.
No, it's Thompson. And Sean, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you've got 4 points. And at the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In 4th place with 4 points, it's Sean. In 3rd place with 9 points comes Dev. In 2nd place with 11 points, it's Danielle. And in 1st place with 13 points, Sarah. So now the general knowledge round. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account. And the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Sean to join us again, please. So, Sean, you start with 4 points. Plenty of time coming up now for general knowledge, 2.5 minutes. And it begins now. A rhyming proverb about forecasting the weather begins. Red sky at night, shepherds.
The Light.
Yes, which film trilogy, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, chronicles the lives of the fictional Corleone family?
The Godfather.
Yes, what mythical creature is usually represented as having the body of a lion and the head and wings of an eagle?
A Griffin.
Yes, the title of what long-running BBC current affairs television series that began in 1953 is a word for an unbroken view of the surrounding area?
Panorama.
Yes, which of the American founding fathers was the first Postmaster General of the newly independent United States and, in effect, established what became the U.S. Postal Service?
Jefferson.
No, Benjamin Franklin. The award-winning Chinese musician Lang Lang is a virtuoso performer on which musical instrument?
Sitar.
No, piano. In the titles of the series of novels by John Updike, the former high school basketball star Harry Angstrom is referred to by what animal nickname?
Lion.
No, rabbit. The first 2 English classics of the horse racing season on the flat, namely the 1,000 guineas and the 2,000 guineas, are both held at which racecourse?
Epsom.
No, Newmarket. Which French electronic music duo who topped the UK albums chart with Random Access Memories in 2013 announced their retirement in February 2021?
Daft Punk.
Yes, after being exiled from Iceland in the late 10th century, the Viking Eric the Red founded a settlement on which large island?
Greenland.
Yes, in the name of the UN organization set up to promote global financial stability. The letters IMF stand for the International what?
Monetary Fund.
Yes, the second child of Queen Elizabeth II was born in 1950 and given what first name?
Anne.
Yes, Anne. What word derived from the Latin for cut away is used in botany for the process of a tree or plant naturally shedding dead leaves?
Pass.
Alumina, which is used in the smelting of aluminium, is a compound of that metal and which other element?
Zinc.
No, oxygen. Which Italian engineer is known for developing the Mocha pot coffee percolator in 1933?
Pass.
The plastic throwing disc invented by the American Fred Morrison and originally called the fly-in saucer or the Pluto platter is better known by what name?
Frisbee.
Yes. Invercargill is the southernmost city in which southern hemisphere country?
Australia.
No, it's New Zealand. Sean, you had two passes. The Italian engineer known for developing the Mocha pot coffee percolator, Alfonso Bialetti. And abscission, derived from the Latin for cutaway. That's the word used in botany for the process of a tree or plant naturally shedding dead leaves. And at the end of that round, Sean, you now have a total of 13 points.
Thank you.
And next up, let's have Dev again, please. So, Dev, you start with 9 points. The score to beat, as it stands, 13 points. And you've now got 2.5 minutes of general knowledge starting now. The Vatican City is surrounded entirely by which larger European city?
Rome.
Yes, in the 2021 film Cruella, which American actress plays the title role?
Emma Stone.
Yes. What's the name of the ornamental club that symbolises royal authority and is carried into the House of Commons by the Sergeant-at-Arms when Parliament is sitting?
Club.
No, the Mace, the name of which global television news channel founded in Qatar in 1996 translates from Arabic as the island.
Al Jazeera.
Yes, a landmark concert hall in Bergen is named after which Norwegian composer who was born in the city in 1843?
Sondheim.
No, Edvard Grieg. The blood-sucking highland species of which tiny flying insect is notorious in certain parts of Scotland in summer for gathering in swarms and causing a nuisance with its irritating bite.
Midgie.
Yes, the ruins of Old Sarum, a hilltop fortification dating back to the Iron Age, are about 2 miles north of which cathedral city in southern England?
Exeter.
No, Salisbury. The 1633 painting Christ in the Storm on the Sea of Galilee, which was stolen from a museum in Boston in 1990, is the only known seascape by which Dutch artist?
Gough.
No, Rembrandt. What 1967 UK #1 single by Procol Harum opens with the line, "We skip the light fandango"?
Copacabana.
A whiter shade of pale. Atahualpa, who was killed by Spanish forces in 1533, was the last emperor of which South American empire?
Salazar.
No, the Inca Empire. In the British peerage, what title is given to a woman of equal rank to a male earl?
Duchess.
No, Countess. The international airline JAL was established in 1951 in which Asian country?
Indonesia.
No, Japan. Prince Mishkin is the title character of which 1869 novel by Fyodor Dostoevsky?
Sapphires.
No, the idiot. What's the word from the Latin for belly and speak for an entertainer who can talk without moving their lips and make their voice appear to come from a dummy or puppet?
Ventriloquist.
No, it's ventriloquist. In Greek mythology, what's the name of the river in the underworld said to cause forgetfulness in those who drank from it?
Amnesia.
No, the river Lethe. What name of German origin is given to a savoury bread snack, I've started so I'll finish, often baked in the shape of a knot and covered with coarse-grained salt?
A pretzel.
Yes, it is a pretzel. And Dev, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you now have a total of 14 points.
Thank you.
Now, time for Danielle. And Danielle, you start with 11 points. The score to beat, as it stands, is 14 points. And you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now. Dicky bow is an informal term for a particular type of what item of dress?
A bow tie.
Yes. Which actor earned an Oscar nomination for his portrayal of the reclusive billionaire Howard Hughes in the 2004 film The Aviator?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yes. Laughing jackass and giant kingfisher are alternative names for what bird native to Australia?
Emu.
No, the kookaburra. A defensive technique known as a check is used in which Winter Olympic sport to disrupt the opposing team's ability to score points?
Ice hockey.
Yes. In 1903, the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party split into two factions, the Bolsheviks, led by Lenin, and what other group, led by Martov?
Pass.
The Okavango Delta region, which is renowned for its abundance of wildlife, particularly its large mammals, is in the south of which continent?
Africa.
Yes. Which writer, born in Scotland, won the 2020 Booker Prize for his debut novel, Shuggie Bain?
Coetzee.
No, Douglas Stewart. In keyboard typing, what's the name of the pointer on a computer screen, often in the form of a blinking vertical line, identifying where the next character typed will appear in a line of text?
Cursor.
Yes, the American singer and pianist Barry Pincus, known for his romantic ballads, is better known by what professional surname?
Michael Bublé.
No, Manilow. The Meadowhall shopping centre opened in 1990 on the site of a former steelworks in which city in northern England?
Sheffield.
Yes. What large breed of dog, named after a town in southern Germany and characterised by a black coat with brown markings, was originally bred to herd cattle, but is now often trained to be a guard dog?
Rottweiler.
Yes. The actress Natalie Cassidy joined the cast of EastEnders in 1993, playing a character with what first name?
Sonia.
Yes. Protanopia and deuteranopia are forms of what sensory condition?
Blindness. Colour blindness.
No, I have to accept your first answer. It's colourblindness. What word goes before Navy in the name of the fleet of commercial ships registered in a country as opposed to those involved in military activity?
Merchant.
Yes, the Greek hero Odysseus, the main protagonist in Homer's Odyssey, is commonly known in English by what other name?
Aeneas.
No, Ulysses. What dry variety of sherry has a name that's also the Spanish word for chamomile?
Pass.
A 2019 film with the subtitle Last Blood is the fifth installment of a series starring Sylvester Stallone as which Vietnam veteran?
Rambo.
Yes. Which British political philosopher, sometimes called the father of utilitarianism, argued that the business of government is to promote the happiness of the society by punishing and rewarding?
Adam Smith.
No, Jeremy Bentham. Danielle, you had two passes. The dry variety of sherry, that's named from the Spanish word chamomile, manzanilla, and the Mensheviks and the Bolsheviks, those were the two factions that the Russian Social Democratic Labour Party split into in 1903. And at the end of that round, Danielle, you now have a total of 21 points.
Thank you.
And finally, it's Sarah's turn. So, Sarah, you start with 13 points. The score to beat to get through to the semi-finals is Danielle's 21 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Starting now. Camden, Hackney and Wandsworth are boroughs of which British city?
London.
Yes, in a famous 1939 film, which character is widowed twice after the deaths of her first two husbands, Charles Hamilton and Frank Kennedy?
Mary Smith.
No, Scarlett O'Hara. What name that translates as fate is given to a sorrowful Portuguese style of folk singing, often accompanied by guitars and other stringed instruments?
Fado.
Yes. In the 1960s children's television series Trumpton, the characters Pew, Pew, Barney McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble and Grubb were members of which of the emergency services?
The fireman.
Yes, Fire Brigade. Which saint whose death is recorded in the Acts of the Apostles in the New Testament is generally regarded as the first Christian martyr?
St. John.
No, St. Stephen. American presidential elections are normally held in which month?
November.
Yes, which British author rewrote the legend of King Arthur into a series of novels published in a single volume in 1958 as The Once and Future King?
Thomas Mallory.
No, T.H. White. What word for a thick, sweet liquid is a rhyming slang term for a wig?
Syrup of figs.
Yes, the American country singer Virginia Patterson Hensley, remembered for songs such as Crazy and I Fall to Pieces, was better known by what name?
Patsy Cline.
Yes, what name is given to the type of long, narrow, flat-bottomed boat popularly used on the rivers of Oxford and Cambridge, which is square at each end and is propelled with a long pole known as a quant?
Punt.
Yes, the Ugandan athlete Joshua Cheptegei broke 2 world records for track running in 2020. The 5,000 metres record and which other distance?
10,000 metres?
Yes, in the abbreviated name HMRC for the government department responsible for collecting taxes. What does the letter C stand for?
Customs.
Yes, the Italian island of Murano in the Venice Lagoon is famous for the manufacture of decorative items made from what substance?
Glass.
Yes, which ancient Egyptian god of the dead, particularly associated with embalming, was usually depicted in black with the head of a jackal or wolf?
Anubis.
Yes, the sclera forms part of the white outer covering of each of which pair of organs?
The eyes.
Yes, which 17th century French playwright wrote the comedy L'Avare, known in English as The Miser?
Molière.
Yes, which US city in southeast Florida has a district called Little Havana because it became a hub for migrants from Cuba after the country's revolution?
Miami.
Yes, in the classification of animals, what grouping has a name that's derived from the Greek for race or tribe and falls below kingdom but above class?
Phylum.
It is phylum. And Sarah, you had no passes, and at the end of that round, you now have a total of 28 points. And let's have a look at the final scores. In 4th place with 13 points, it's Sean. In 3rd place with 14 points comes Dev. In 2nd place with 21 points, it's Danielle. And in 1st place with 28 points, it's Sarah, which means that she goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to her. If you would like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
I've spent so much time learning things, and the fear is that you just blurt out the wrong answer, or you panic and just can't think of an answer. But fortunately, things fell into the right place in my head, and the questions fell nicely. My specialist subject was Rocky Horror. I used to watch it end to end on a very badly recorded videotape when I was a teenager.
The film was shot on location at which Victorian mansion that was also used as a location for many Hammer horror films?
Oakley Court.
Yes.
I really enjoyed learning about the influences of the B-movies and just the history of the production. I'm wearing this brooch. It was my mum's brooch. My mum is sadly no longer with us, but she was a big fan of quiz shows, and she would have loved to have seen this. And I think it's brought me some luck today.